trying to keep you and your buddies out of trouble right here on Stu's channel.
Oh, welcome back to Stu's channel. What do we got here today? Oh, we got a rifle. 1 meter. Yeah, that's right. Now you'll have to forgive the lighting. I had this light bulb on my main desk go out, so I'm stuck with the table. You're going to get some overhead sheen off of this box here. It is unboxing time. Let's open her up. Yeah, why am I excited? Well, this is, of course, the one... Ooh, look, a color change here. This is the 1 meter. And what's the big deal about that? This rifle here, this, the original rifle, this thing was tiny, as you can see by the wing size there. And it was an absolute blast. The only bummer part is that it would disappear on you because it's so tiny. And so this right here solves that whole problem. Long time wait, and here it is. Let's see what we got in the box. Yeah, instructions. Let's see, decals probably. Decals. Main wing. Tail. Fuselage. Push rods. Velcro. A bag of hardware. What's that mean? That means assembly. That's no big deal. I did have to do some assembly on the original one. And of course, the spinner. What? Wait. Hold on a second here. This is smaller than the original. Okay, that's a shocker. That's alright though. Maybe I'll swap those. I like the rifle so much, I have a spare sitting up there in case this one here absolutely takes a dump or I screw up somehow. But this is pretty exciting. This is rated for 130 plus miles an hour, which I find laughable because the original rifle was rated for 90 miles an hour. And it wasn't doing 90. I upgraded it. It wasn't doing 90 with the stock setup. I upgraded it a little bit, and this thing was absolutely moving out. So I do have the stock setup for this, which is a 3600 kV motor on a 3S 2200 milliamp battery. I'm going to upgrade that, of course, after running a few of the stock flights. But oh wait. Nice. What's the big deal? Servo holes for 2 servos. What's that mean? That means flaperons. This is the original setup, driven by 1 servo. I had to bring this in at a pretty good speed to avoid a tip stall. This will allow me to add some flaperons and bring this one in at a much slower rate. That's nice. I like that. That's excellent. So here it is. The day's arrived. The day has arrived, and now I'm just going to have to assemble this thing. All right. Hey, welcome back to Stu's channel. I wasn't going to do this entire build video, but I'm going to record some things when I bump into strange things. So one of the things that I don't like so far, I mean, I understand it. Well, I had to drill these out. This is not a big deal. You can see the holes there. I had to drill those out. That's not a big deal, but according to the instructions, you know, you want you want these to be sitting straight like this, and this is your distance. If you can see it. Well, that's not much. You're literally having to, you know, according to the book, they show it, you've got about this much. According to what I got, because I have a Castle 75, I'm having to cut those things way down. You know, and then I'll put my bullet connectors on, but I don't like chopping up ESCs. I really don't. But I'm doing it. There's one thing I'm kind of like concerned with, but hey, I'm going to drive on. All right, so hey, I'm I'm knee deep in this installation. I do have my motor mounted. This was real simple. I mean, it's too simple. I don't really need to even go into how to do that. It's that simple. When you get to the tail, if you're using CA, if you're deciding to, you know, hey, I want this on there. I don't have any epoxy, which I do have epoxy. I just don't like waiting around on the epoxy. You're gonna have to put this little this hinge mount, this piece here in the middle. You're gonna have to put this in. You will need to sand. There's no question. The thing fits in there so tight. I mean, it could pretty much friction fit, but this is a fast pylon type plane, and it's a bad idea to not have this secure. So you'll need to sandpaper it. But if you're using CA, I got a recommendation for you. Make sure to have some of this. This is uncure. That way, if you do make a mess somewhere on here, you spill or something, you can get that CA off of that. Because if you don't, you know what a CA mess looks like. It looks like a big mess that pretty much never goes away. Get some of this if you're using the CA to fasten some of your surfaces together. It makes it a much cleaner job. So there you go. We'll be back. Alright, so check it out. I had to take a small break because I had another project to do. Motor, spinner installed, real easy. I am going to use this Zap Goo. I've never used it. I've used everything else because I've never trusted this kind of thing, but I'm going to go ahead and trust this. What I am going to do, though, to save myself a little pain later on from a potential disaster, I'm going to shrink wrap. I'm going to do my normal trick. I do it with wings. I do it with all kinds of planes. I will shrink wrap this, and then I'll use this and glue it on in. I'm a little kind of stunned because normally what happens is you have a couple of blocks of wood and the thing fits down in it nice and neat. But hey, you know, these guys have been building them. This is their deal. Zap Goo. Going with the Zap Goo. Be back in a bit. Just like before, you have to create a couple bends in the push rod at the end for the tail. It's almost the same exact, actually it is the same exact process as the build with the small rifle. So piece of cake. Hey, don't get in a hurry. Just tell you right now, early on when I was building these things, don't get in a hurry to glue this in. Don't get in that hurry. What you're going to want to do is get everything all hooked up, all your bends, and you're going to glue in, if this is all zeroed, you're going to glue in so that the wing is absolutely straight. So when you plug your transmitter in, you're all good. There's nothing, no adjustment is needed. You'll need very little adjustments as far as trim is concerned once this is all done. You could screw up on this and be okay with a lot of trim, but you know, why do it? Just wait for this and then go last. That's my recommendation. Alright, thanks. Alright, here's the point where I'm going to check the incident of these wings relative to each other. And so I've got to mount the main wing. I did take a closer look. If you start really looking, if you really look on your glass along the way here, and start really looking at it, you're going to find some imperfections. And they are kind of, I don't want to say that, the plane looks great. There's no question. The plane, once it's assembled, it's going to look all wonderful. But after doing that glass work with George, you know, you kind of look now and see how, sort of gauge. I can tell you this, you're going to find some. And of course I found one on the wing just as I pulled it out. There's a dip here. Here's the thing. It's not a big deal. It's really not. And you're thinking, well, yeah, it's a big deal. No, it's not a big deal. You want to go spin the bucks for imperfections, you can. But let's keep in mind, this is how much this plane is. That's what you're paying for this. What's that mean? That means it's a great deal. This plane is an absolute bargain. You're not having to install any of the support. They've already done it for you. This was obvious in halves. They put the supports in. They put the push rod tube in for you, the whole bit. Put it back together. So as far as complaining, I wouldn't complain at all. This is a great bargain for what it is. So at any rate, I figured I would share that because there's probably going to be people complaining. Don't complain. No reason. It's going to be flying great. Those little imperfections aren't going to make a big deal. Okay, so I would definitely use some medium grit sandpaper. This is thin, so don't get aggressive, but it will need to be roughed up. As you open it up, there's a sheen there. It's real smooth. You'll want to rough it up a bit and then get some alcohol and then clean that up for the installation of the servo. I had these in pretty easy. Sand inside the little piece a little bit. Sand these sides up a little bit, and then I used CA these in. They go in real easy. Real nice, real simple, real easy. These are the futabas. This is a set of futabas that I got. And you can see these. Do you have to get these? No, but I can tell you this. You are very limited on space in here. This is one of the covers. I haven't put that down yet, but it's a tight fit. So your servo has to be really small. You get a one that has a lot of torque and nice speed, the whole bit. But if you're looking for something, look for something that's got the same measurements. I mean, if you wanted to take some shortcuts and not, buy $40 a piece servos, which is what these futabas are, just make sure that they match the same dimensions, as these futabas. Otherwise, you're going to have this bump. You're going to end up, leaving off the nice little covers that make this thing look great. They'll be open like this, and you'll be either making your own covers or whatever the case may be. But if you're planning on using the stock covers, these servos have to be dinky. They have to be able to fit. So match these parameters as close as possible. All right, so check it out. Yeah, it's on its stand. Oh, what's nice is the old rifle, the stand is the exact it is the exact same stand. So if you have an old rifle, and of course you are going to have your stand, hey, there's no real reason to put the new one together. Just use your old one. Otherwise, you're going to end up sharpening the ends and putting the whole thing together. But if you have one, you're golden. There it is. It's at CG. Here's the strange part. What's nice is you do have a pretty wide margin. You're supposed to put it in the middle, just like the other rifle. But there is a pretty wide margin. So if it's in between there and they're lined up as far as on your CG machine, you should be okay. Even if you were tilting a little tiny bit back or a little tiny bit forward when you got it up there initially on the center line. So if you're right around that center line, evened up, and you can make a small adjustment and it balances out, you're golden. Wanted to show you this. This was a bit of a surprise to me. Now, no weight. I'm adding, of course, no weight. Why? There's a gigantic spot for the battery. Let me get this out of here. That's where the battery is. So check it out. I may move this, but I have this essentially on top of and just out of the way of the arm of this servo. But that's where my battery is. That's where it's sitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, of course, make a line someplace here, and that will show me how far the battery goes in. And of course, with each battery that you do, you may end up with a new line. So you'll have to keep track, or you'll have to, even if you're using the same exact battery, I mean, it should work, but you'll want to go in and CG this thing before you fly it. They are rather sensitive. It's done. I do have to set up rates, and I'm going to set up spoiler-ons on here, which is going to be nice. I'll have that all set up in a bit. And the next stop is the maiden.
Hope to see you back here on Stu's channel.